Welcome to Scrub In, a podcast where purpose meets care. We are more than just a podcast. We are real stories of hope, expert health advice, and inspiring conversations with the people behind the scrubs.
This podcast will leave you informed, inspired, and reminded of the purpose that connects us all. It's the voice of humanity in healthcare, uplifting, honest, and full of heart.
Featuring hosts Dr. Kendall Barton, Keisha Morris, and Alice Roush. You can listen and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and YouTube. Or visit bayhealth.org/scrubin to learn more. Now, let's scrub in. Here's our next episode.
Welcome to Scrub In, a podcast where purpose meets care. It's Alice, Keisha, and Kendall joining you today. And if you're a first-time listener, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review.
And if you are a regular Scrub In listener, we're so glad that you have come back. Let's jump in with our quote. Our quote today comes from William James, and it says, "Act as if what you do makes a difference. It does."
As you can see, we are not Sarah and Tyler. We love them and miss them, wish them well on their new adventure. But let's get to know our new hosts, so we'll introduce ourselves. Kendall, take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alice. I'm Dr. Kendall Barton. I'm a family medicine physician here at Bay Health up in Dover, Delaware. I've been here for 4 years now and excited to join the podcast with you guys.
Awesome.
Excited to be here.
How about you, Keisha?
So my name is Keisha Morris. I happen to serve as the Director of Leadership and Organizational Development here at Bay Health. I've been with Bay Health for about 2 years, a little bit over 2.5 years actually, and I work in the HR department. How about you, Alice?
I'm Alice Roush. I've been at Bay Health now for 10 years, actually. This is my 10-year anniversary week. I've been in a lot of different positions. My current position is Senior Manager for Marketing and Communications.
Wow, Alice, 10 years. That is quite a journey. Tell us a little bit more about that.
10 years ago, I was anchoring the news for WBOC. Shout out to my WBOC friends. And I'd had 2 children. My youngest was still 9 months old, and it was challenging to work some of the hours that I was working. So I was looking for a new career. And I found Bay Health when we were in the very early stages of building the new hospital, which has now been open for a little while. And I started as the Southern Region Strategy and Brand Program Manager at Bay Health, which was a really long title, and I still remember it. Super proud. And my role was to tell the story of opening the new hospital. And it started from the groundbreaking through the topping out ceremony where we placed the beam on the top of the hospital to it being open. And of course, once the hospital did open, my role sort of shifted, and then COVID hit, which I'm sure we could all share a little bit about. And that got me to doing a lot of everything in the health system, and eventually is in the senior manager position. So I remember when you started at Bay, I think I was hosting our white coat ceremony or match day ceremony when you arrived.
Yep, a little over 4 years ago now. So yeah, I actually started my journey here at Bay Health as part of the inaugural class of residents for the family medicine program, which was great. It was the first family medicine internal residency programs in the southern part of the state of Delaware.
That was exciting.
So, yeah, it was a challenge. You know, residency is already a daunting task, but to go into a place that has literally never existed and to build it from the ground up was a fantastic experience. I fell in love with Dover. I fell in love with Bay Health. I fell in love with my patients. And so, you know, it was a very easy decision for me to sign on with Bay Health after graduation.
And that was a time, too, as I recall, when we had match day. It was either 2020, 2021. It was early. It was in the midst of wearing masks and COVID. And so starting in that kind of environment must have been really interesting.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure there were people who I interacted with for years, and I had no idea what their faces looked like. I could run into them on the street now and have no idea that we go all that way back. But, I mean, yeah, getting into residency during COVID was a unprecedented time, as we all like to say. But I think being thrown into the fire like that allowed a lot of us to get trained in a very unique way with an approach to medicine that is more applicable to today's society.
What made you like Delaware?
And Dover.
Oh, man. So that's a lot. You know, I'm not a big city person. You know, I like to be close enough where I can go in and have fun and, you know, do all the entertaining stuff. But when it comes to my day-to-day, I don't need all the hustle and bustle. And grew up in a suburb of Atlanta, a little bit smaller or excuse me, a little bit bigger than Dover, but still had a similar feel to it. And something that was very unique about the program here was the embrace from the community. I think healthcare workers across the board a lot of times are underappreciated, especially during a time like the pandemic. And coming up to Dover and being embraced by the community, whether it was those involved in the hospital or outside, was remarkable. It was unbelievable, the welcome we got, and being able to actually make a pretty big impact on a small area was something that I just was absolutely drawn to and was like, yeah, I'm absolutely going to stick around.
We are so glad you
We are.
did.
We are.
Absolutely. But how about you, Keisha? Tell me a little bit more about how you got to Bay Health.
So I joined Bay Health about 2.5 years ago. I came from a pediatric health system up north, further up north, where I was there for a little bit over 13 years. I really just came because it was a great opportunity for my career, honestly, to be able to serve in this capacity in terms of leadership and organizational development. And I've enjoyed it. I've been able to really come and meet a great group of individuals here at Bay Health. I really love the family atmosphere and feel that we have here. It's I believe, one of our greatest attributes as part of a health system, and really being able to just be around some incredible team members who really value each other, which is hard to find, and just work period sometimes. And so being able to be here and to serve them and to help them grow and develop has just been one of my greatest honors.
That's awesome.
So before you've been in healthcare. What was your why behind getting into healthcare?
Honestly, it's one of those things, almost like I read a book years ago, early in my career, called The Accidental Trainer. So part of what I do is I train, and I really believe that's kind of what happened to me in healthcare. It's like I'm an accidental healthcare person, but I was in insurance before, as well as working for government. And so being able to come into healthcare is not something I necessarily chose, but what has called me. And so I really appreciate the calling into healthcare to be able to help on this level with individuals who really care for others. And so I really look at my role as an opportunity to care for those who care for others.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think healthcare is unique in that most people want to feel like they're meant to do what they're doing,
Yeah.
but you hear that phrase like, it was my calling
Yeah.
to serve. And
I
so
really
that's
do
awesome.
believe that. Yeah. I think for all of us, wouldn't you say the same for you? How did you end up in healthcare?
Absolutely. In a very similar way. I started not directly in medicine, but my dad was a dentist, and so grew up in that, following him around the office and really liking that patient care aspect of it. And then wanting to do something a little bit different. People don't love going to see the dentist, so, I was like, maybe I'd like someone who likes me a little bit more, even though you're still going to the doctor and taking time off of work. But for me, it was the human connection that you got out of it. Something I saw with my dad and his patients were the connections and the bonds and the friendships a lot of times that he developed over the years. And, I did other stuff in undergraduate when I was an engineer and sat at a desk and looked at a computer screen, and it drove me nuts. I couldn't do it. I wanted to interact with people. I wanted to talk. And so I had that, science background, and so we just put it into that field where I don't have to sit at a desk all day.
Yeah.
I can talk to someone all day, essentially. Now there's the other side of medicine where you do have to sit at a desk and write your notes, but like it was just that calling, like you said. When you start getting into it and being able to help out individuals and see the impact that you can make on their lives is just
Unmatched.
Yeah.
It's unmatched. So before we go and ask Alice how she got here into healthcare, I'm just curious. You just said something that kind of blew me out of the water. So you studied engineering?
I did originally, yes.
So how did you go from engineering to medicine?
I studied biomedical engineering
Okay.
at Georgia Tech, and so it was something where I wasn't sure what I wanted to do as far as, maybe be a dentist, but I also didn't know if that was exactly what I wanted to do. And a lot of people who go into the field of biomedical engineering, a couple different options because it does have the science and biology background to it to do the prereqs for medical school. But you can get into research, which was something I was interested in. I did a lot of sports medicine research, working with the football team at Georgia Tech. So I was around it adjacent being in biomedical engineering. And so you could also be exposed to medicine throughout other courses and elective classes and things like that. And so I tried research, didn't like it, and I tried working in the corporate world, didn't like it. So I was like, well, let's see if medicine was a fit, and fortunately it was.
Dr. Barton, you were just well-rounded. I'm just saying.
I'm not an engineer anymore, so don't ask me any engineering questions. I will not be able to help you.
I will not.
But
That's a great
yes,
story to be able to say,
thank
you
you.
got from one
Appreciate it.
point to another. So, Alice, tell us your story.
Well, I mentioned I worked at WBOC, so I started my career in news. I didn't think I would do anything besides that, but after I had children, I started looking at what else I had the talent to do. And I thought at the core of what I do is I tell people stories. And I thought of working in healthcare in a very similar passion, because what I wanted to do was tell the stories to the community, and tell the stories to our team members about the great work that is going on at Bay Health. And 10 years ago, I didn't know as much about Bay Health, of course, as I do now, but even in the community, I saw the need by working in news for more medical care. And even for my own family, my mom and dad who are retirement age, and my children who had to go a long way to get specialty care 10 years ago, who lived in Sussex County. And when I heard Bay Health was, building the Sussex campus and partnering with Nemours to bring specialty care to that Sussex campus, I was blown away by some of the opportunities that we have, to tell that story, but also to be behind the scenes doing some of that work, whether it's just the groundbreaking, and having somebody who is a mom who was going to be so impacted by not having to drive her 3 special needs kids to Nemours, because that was there. That's just one story that comes to mind, but even the Sussex campus, I can't imagine what would have happened during the pandemic if we didn't have a hospital like that with all private rooms. And some of the things that we were thinking about before we even knew that we were going to need that expansion. So I think at the end of the day, I just love to help people. And I might not be, writing the prescription, but I do find a lot of passion in helping to tell the stories of other people.
That's fantastic.
Healthcare is a team sport, so it takes a lot more than someone just to write the scripts. And on that note, tell us a little bit more about how you find your passion in healthcare.
It really is, as I mentioned before, really supporting those who give care to our communities. I really look at the work that I do in leadership and organizational development as a chance to really create a workplace environment that everyone really loves to be in, so they can really thrive in their individual work as well as the work that we do collectively as a whole. If we have happy team members, we'll have happy patients, right? And so being able to meet those needs, not just kind of on the basic need level, but the need to grow, the need to develop, the need to be able to feel like they're being heard, the need to be able to really just know that they're making a difference and contributing. And so me, along with my team members, we really appreciate the opportunity and the privilege to be able to do that. So when we are able to help in the growth and development of an individual, even if it's just a small, mindset shift, or, oh, I didn't realize that, or helping them connect the dots between concepts, it brings us so much joy, because you grow. And so as you grow, we grow. And so that's where that passion comes from.
That's awesome. And as from someone who was not planning on being in Delaware for more than 3 years, I can say your team is doing a fantastic job of creating a culture at Bay Health.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
I wouldn't have stuck around if it wasn't a place that I'm
Thank you
happy
for that.
and feel supported. And just, so well done to you and your team.
Thank you for it. I really appreciate that. I'll give you a little side change on the side, but thank you for that. Appreciate
We'll talk compensation.
Okay, we'll talk compensation later. Fantastic.
Well, when you are not at work, Dr. Martin, what's it like outside of, the office for you in Dover?
I hinted at it earlier, I'm not a big city guy, so I'm not that active all the time, or not busy, I would say. I'm pretty active, but I'm a true kid at heart. I'm a big nerd. So something that I'm very passionate about, I collect Lego.
Nice.
Yep, so I got a room full of Lego.
Oh, wow.
My dog's name is Lego. I got
Really?
socks with Lego on it. My badge is Lego. So it's a big passion of mine. So for me, it's therapy. You can go home, put on a TV, put on a movie, put on a record, do something, follow along a simple set of instructions, and create a piece of art.
That's awesome.
And
What do you do when they're done?
Hang them up on the wall. I got shelves full of them, man. They're all over the place. I got them in my office at the clinic. So I try to get the ones that are a little bit more adult themed, but not to say I don't have roller coasters in my room. So.
Right.
But they have plants.
Yeah.
I have lots of plants in my house. Not a single one of them requires water.
That's fantastic. I would love to see a picture of that. Or you get to bring it in.
I've got pictures.
I love it.
I recently heard the story about how some people take them apart and then they build new things
Oh yeah.
with.
That's a little bit out of my wheelhouse. That takes thinking, and for me, when I'm doing that, I want to not think. So,
Gotcha.
it's a nice way to kind of unwind from a busy day.
Yeah.
That and then golf, but golf's frustrating, and so we don't talk about that.
We don't talk.
No. We're still working on that field.
Favorite sports team?
Well, I'm an Atlanta guy, of course, so it's tough being Philly adjacent. I won't get too much into the Philly sports because this is a family podcast. But I'm a Georgia Tech guy through and through.
Yeah.
Went there for 4 years. Was a part of the football team as an athletic trainer. Little brother played at Tech, so there's my shout out to Go Jackets. But yeah, love that. How about y'all?
Well, I went to Syracuse University, so I am an Orangeman. Love Syracuse. But if I'm not cheering for my college team, I grew up in Annapolis, Maryland, so love the Ravens and the Orioles. My husband is a huge Phillies fan, so I do support the Phillies for him. Sorry.
We can still be friends. So.
And my children, and he's a 49ers fan as well, so we're all over the place. They love the Philadelphia sports teams as well because of where we live. So I just encourage everybody.
Yeah.
There you go.
Same. I don't really have a team except for my college team. I went to Howard University in Washington, D.C., so I'm a Howard Bison through and through. I bleed red and blue. So, but as far as professional sports, I enjoy watching the Eagles. I enjoy watching just football in general. I just love the sport. So this is my favorite time of year, besides the weather, right? So it's football season, so it's all good.
Fall weather. You don't like fall weather?
I do love fall weather.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
One of my favorite seasons. So
I'll be friends.
the sweaters. It's sweater weather. Sweater weather.
Yes.
So if you're not watching sports, what other stuff do you do?
So super busy and active in the community. Belong to several civic organizations as well as boards, and so heavily involved in a faith-based community. And so I just try to get as much sleep as I can when I can. So have a good time, when I can, hang out with friends when I can. I love music, so concerts or any type of venues that are music centered, I'm there. How about you?
Well, I love to be outside. We live down near the beach, and I think riding bikes, just taking walks, spending afternoons on the beach. Love traveling. So if I get a chance to travel somewhere and be outside, I think that would be my favorite thing to do. We recently went to Sedona, Arizona and did a bunch of hiking, dragged my children along with me.
I heard it's beautiful there.
It's lovely. I absolutely love it. So I also love to ski. So in the winter, bundle up and go downhill. So I do just enjoy being outside. I feel like it's a great just way to relax and enjoy where we are.
What's the dream vacation?
Great question.
Oh, I could plan many. I think I would just like to spend a month in Europe, traveling around to every country, maybe on a long trip, with my family.
That's awesome.
I've always wanted to go to Australia and England. So those would be my two places that I would absolutely go to just to experience them. So how about you?
I want to go to New Zealand.
Oh,
Walk the path to Mordor. Lord of the Rings, of course, coming back to the nerd part. So we
Gotcha.
can plan our New Zealand
I would love
Australia
that.
trip
I would
together.
love that.
I think that'd be great.
that would be good.
We can go during the winter because it'll be their summer.
Oh, nice.
So it'll be hot year round.
I'll follow your lead on that one there.
Yes. We'll start planning.
Okay.
My people will get in touch with your people.
Please.
Perfect.
All right. Well, our amazing producer, Rachel Bowman from the Marketing and Communications team, wrote a list of questions. And one of the questions is, what are you reading or listening to right now?
What am I reading? So I just finished a book. It's from an author named Brandon Sanderson. The theme is very nerdy. I'm realizing this the more I talk, which is okay. I fully embrace it. But yeah, he's a young adult science fantasy author. Has a big old backlog of novels and books that he reads, and I read them with a bunch of my friends. So we don't have like a formal book club, but we do read them and discuss them a lot. So Isles of Enderbark is what I just read. So for all of you Brandon Sanderson fans, there's your plug. But yeah, great book. How about you?
And you actually talk about books in the book club.
Oh yeah, of course.
With wine and cheese too?
Well, I mean, one of the nice things about this is we're all over the country now.
Oh, okay.
So it's one of the things we do to keep in touch.
Gotcha.
Which actually
That's really
started
nice.
during the pandemic.
Yeah, so all over Zoom. And
Oh yeah.
that's
If we could do wine and cheese, that'd be nice. But we can do our own thing.
in your own thing. Yeah.
What are you reading?
I have been reading We Can Do Hard Things by
Okay.
Glennon Doyle. Had the opportunity to see her at the Freeman stage earlier this summer, and she spoke about the book. So I've sort of been filling in the blanks since then.
Yeah.
Awesome book. Would recommend
That's
it.
awesome.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic. I wish I could say I'm reading something very exciting. I'm actually in the middle of finishing my dissertation, so I'm reading a lot of like research material on various topics. So, yeah, so I'm all over the place, to be honest with you, but it's very interesting.
That's awesome. What's your dissertation on?
So because I have, I'm just a low level achiever. I'm just joking. No, I'm looking to create a whole leadership construct. So
That's awesome.
we'll see how it goes. I know we have several like servant leadership and like charismatic leadership and all those things, but I think there's time and room for a whole new one. So we'll see
That's
how
awesome.
it goes.
That's exciting.
Shake it up.
Yeah, shake it up a little.
Shake
bit.
it up.
That.
I love it.
And I will say I am grateful to be reading again too, because I worked on my MBA over the past few years and did achieve that a year or two ago.
Oh, congrats! Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time. Every free second
Yeah.
was writing and reading.
Yeah.
So shout out to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is nice to be able to read for enjoyment.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
takes a while after you get out of school
Yeah.
because you're so scarred from being force fed.
Yeah.
But yeah, being able to find the time now to, whether you're listening or reading, has been great.
All right, next question. How do you balance your work and home life? And what do you do to stay well yourself?
There's balance. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, that's a
It's a good question.
great question. Thanks.
I think for me, I just try to prioritize rest. And so I try to listen to my body. I can push it as much as I can. But once my body says that's enough, I try to listen to it. And I go ahead and just have myself a seat or a bed, whichever one is closer.
Or yes, that's awesome. Yeah, for me, it's been about separating work and life. Like obviously, there's going to be overlap and connections between the two of them. But for me, I try not to bring work home. If I'm not done by the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. If I can take care of it in the morning, I will. I truly love my job. They say if you love what you do, you don't work. It's still work,
Right.
But at the same point, at least you're getting to enjoy what you do. So for me, having that clear separation about home life and work life is where I start. And then we've all got our fallbacks to our modalities, whether it's sleep or reading or TV, golf, cooking. I think we all have, and I think they really do a good job during our training to really strong arm you into finding those things.
Yes.
Because I think when we do get burnt out, the last thing you want to do is try to come up with a plan in that moment.
Right.
So
Physician burnout is such a huge topic and something that I know we take so seriously because it's so common. And it's great to have that balance.
yeah, absolutely. How about yourself?
I would say my mantra is always just to get out and move my body, whether it's, a quick 10-minute Peloton exercise or just a walk around the block, a bike ride, making sure I prioritize that, even if it's not for any reason except for my own mental health, and not looking at it as like a chore is probably one of the most important things for me. And also just prioritizing my family and making the time to be with them and to be present and be in the moment.
So, what are you looking forward to most in our podcast journey?
Great question. Alice?
I think I would say, I told you I love to tell stories. So I'm excited to talk to a lot of the physicians and clinicians that we don't necessarily speak to all the time, that we'll be able to just talk to one-on-one and share their stories, talk about some of the things they're doing behind the scenes that we may know about, but not everyone else does. So I'm always excited to spread the word about the great things that Bay Health is doing.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
How about you, Kendall?
I love education. I love teaching my patients, and I love engaging with the community, and I feel like this podcast is a great venue for that. Like Alice said, we're going to be able to talk to a lot of awesome either providers or other just employees or people who work in the healthcare field to educate ourselves and our listeners, and to engage with a community that has really embraced the podcast to begin with. So I'm looking to continue that legacy that Sarah and Tyler left us.
Yes.
I don't think I can top that, so I'm just gonna say same, and just really, I'm looking forward to also working with the two of you. So being able to learn about you a little bit more and be able to just kind of move this to the next level. So this is gonna be amazing.
Absolutely looking forward to get to know you guys as well.
Well, this has been a great time that we'll be able to share with everyone a little bit about who we are and what we're hoping to bring to the podcast in this season. So we can't wait to be able to go on this journey with you.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for sharing your stories, a little bit about yourself. So great to get to know you. Thank you for listening, being part of our audience and our conversation. We'll see you next time as we talk to Dr. Edler about women's health. We're excited about that one. And leave us a review and your favorite part of the episode in the comments. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening to Scrub In, where we bring purpose and care to every conversation.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen.
Stay connected, stay informed, and stay inspired right here with Scrub In.